Hi everyone, it's Maha. So nice to be with you again. Hope you guys are all doing really well. I'm really great because I'm so excited. I have the most beautiful deck sitting in front of me, waiting to show it off to you guys. And this is a deck that I've been waiting for a long time and anticipating to get it, and finally it arrived 2 days ago, and I literally opened it up yesterday, and I was planning on spending some time with it before sharing it with you, just so I could add some additional insights into the cards. But I realized I was after the 10th card I looked at in the major arcana, I realized I was kind of talking out loud to myself about the cards, and I thought, okay, I just can't look at these cards without sharing them with you. So I came right now to make a quick video to share this with you in case you haven't heard of it, because many people I know have not heard of this deck, and for some reason I have not seen any videos on YouTube or any kind of discussions about it. So I wanted to kind of put it out there. So this deck is Decadent Dream Tarot by Eleanor Boyce, and when I first saw this deck on Eclectic Tarot about a year and a half ago, I absolutely fell in love with the artwork, because the artwork in this deck is from my favorite periods in art history. And the deck is really, its images are dark, intense, beautiful, evocative, emotional, moody. You'll see, it's a beautiful deck beyond words. Now, it is quite an investment, which is one of the reasons why I didn't buy it right away. And then there's another reason. Some of the images, although I love them, I couldn't really relate them to the cards that the creator had decided to link them up with. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. I wanted to make kind of, this isn't going to be a review, you guys. I just literally opened the deck the other day, as I said. And so I can't really tell you what it's like working with it. I just want to show some of the cards off. I will put a link to her website down below, and on the website she has images of all of the cards, so in high quality, high resolution, so you can look at all the images when you go to her website. The only thing that you want to probably know before purchasing this deck, making these investments, because it is kind of actually quite an investment. I think it came to, it's a British deck, so with the taxes and shipping and everything, it came to about 90 something American. That's over $100 Canadian. So for me that was really steep. And I want to kind of show you some of the things that you won't be able to have a feeling of just by looking on her website. For example, the guidebook. Now, I wasn't too impressed with the guidebook, to be honest with you. I was hoping that there would be some more explanation behind why they chose the cards for each, the images for each card. Because when I went on the website, the guidebook was kind of advertised as this like really nice juicy guidebook with 60 pages and really large. But, you know, I mean, size does not mean anything. The amount of information that's in this book is pretty much even less, I would say, than a little white book from Los Garbeo decks that we get. Really not much. So I'll just show you. So this is I would say it's more of a pamphlet than a guidebook. It's very thin. The pages are like just photocopy black and white quality paper. There is a poem to begin with, and some images, and then it goes into the intro and forward, which is just a few pages, then goes straight into the cards, major arcana, and then you have a huge image, so it fills up the whole entire page with this border, which I'm not really sure why that fancy border is there, because the cards don't have that border. Don't worry, I was for a second worried there. And then it gives you 3 lines for each major arcana description. And then the minors are, they take again a whole page, 4 images, and just 1 line. 1 line for each one. So Ace of Rods, for example, here. An initiation by love and trust into a new beginning. And then you have the artist on the bottom, the artist of each image, not the date or the medium or the country or anything about the artwork, which is a bit weird because this morning I just went again on her website and I reread the description of the guidebook, and it says there's descriptions about why she chose each image and detailed explanations about the artwork, but I don't really find that. So that was just a little bit of a warning, for those of you who are kind of iffy about the deck and thinking, should you get it or not? If you're doubting, I think, this is not really an advice, it's just something from my own experience, that if you're doubting whether or not you should get a deck, I think there's a reason for that, and it's good to listen to that voice that's thinking, I'm not sure. Having said that, I'm not regretting buying the deck. I really think it's a gorgeous deck. The images kind of make up for the book. I was just hoping that the book will be really, juicy, and it would get into kind of the things I was expecting from reading about, not just who the artist is. It's great to know who the artist is, but from a book, you kind of get more juice. I have a really great book it's the Alice Tarot by I can't remember their names, the creators of Bohemian Gothic Tarot and Victorian Romantic Tarot, and the guidebook for that is incredible. I thought that's what I would get here. I don't care whether or not it's in color, black and white, doesn't bother me, just some information would have been nice. The images on the book are amazing. Love that. Isn't that weird? So cool. I love her eyes. They're so weird. Reminds me of, I think she's possessed by an exorcist. And I love this. I think it's a key, Art Nouveau. This is her website. I'm going to post it down below, natdag.com. So I also went and grabbed one of my Lo Scarabeo decks, because when I opened up this deck, I was thinking that the quality of the cards are pretty much the same as Lo Scarabeo. So I grabbed my Tarot of the Magical Forest, just randomly, and then I'm going to compare. This is the very first card. Eleanor Boyd, Decadent Dream Tarot. Beautiful image. Gorgeous. This is the back of the card. Beautiful, kind of textured, gilded kind of, what is it called? Stained. Gold stained. Sorry, move my camera. Beautiful. So nice. I love it. And so the cards are very, very much like a Lo Scarabeo, the thickness. Little bit thicker, I want to say, just a little bit. Hardly noticeable, but pretty much the same. Okay, maybe a tiny bit thicker. And the artwork, this is the second card, gives you information about the artwork. Showcasing and celebrating the works are carefully selected from the aesthetic, pre-Raphaelite, symbolist, decadent, and Art Nouveau movements, not only for the aptness for particular tarot cards, but also on account of their sheer beauty and power. This project, more than anything else, has been a labor of love. That's nice. So are you ready for the cards? I'm going to show you some of them. The quality of the images is really great. I just recently got the Timeless Tarot deck, and I found those images to be, compared to this one, more blurry. Overall, the feeling of this deck is really powerful and dark. as opposed to if any of you have the Tarot of Delphi or the Victorian Romantic or even the Timeless Tarot, kind of more those are kind of more romantic to me, whereas these images are more just sheer powerful and dark. Oh, okay, let's look at some of them. First of all, the color is magnificent. Like this is the first card I looked at, obviously the Fool, and when I saw this on Eclectic Tarot, this is the first card I saw. And then look, I mean, look at the difference in color. You have all this green and blues here. This is the Magician. Really intense red suddenly. This is the only card in the deck, the Magician card, that's slightly blurry to me. Although you can't really tell here. And then look at the High Priestess. I love the borders. Very, very tiny black borders. And I actually really like the font as well that she chose. So nice, I love that. It's kind of got this antique look. I think this deck won't last you if you're going to be shuffling with it every day. It's a deck that I would say it's more for collectors, more for people who are collecting decks as precious objects, because it's one that, you know, you don't, if you're paying so much money for it, you don't want to rip the cards so quickly, because they're not able to withstand too many shuffling, I think. Okay, so this is one of the cards, the Empress, that I wasn't so sure about in relation to the Empress. This is Hygeia. This is a detail of one of Klimt's paintings. And you know what? I just realized that what she doesn't say also is the title of the artwork, which to me, as someone who studied art history, is kind of important. So unfortunately, this, you know, that's another thing that's not included in the book, the title of the artworks. So I have so many things I want to say to you about this deck that I keep going back and forth. Alright, so first I want to say that this was one of the first cards that, although I love the image, this is one of my absolute favorite paintings of Klimt. I have an image of this in my bedroom on my closet door. It's a huge print of Hygeia, and I love it. I just wasn't sure if I could connect it to Empress. Then I kind of satisfied my own self by thinking that, well, Hygeia is a goddess of health, and if I think about health and abundance that way, as opposed to health, just health, but the physical abundance and well-being, then I can relate it to the Empress. So another reason I didn't want to get it, because I thought there was too many iconic Christian images in it, which is absolutely not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just, for me personally, I prefer that there's more images that are non-religious. This is the Emperor. Although I still highly respect and adore these paintings. And again, if it would be great if the book described why this image is given to the Emperor. And you know what? Let's just read, because I want to know. Strong and fierce, gentle, the Emperor is the great father, consider the land of the land. No, it doesn't say anything about the artwork. And it's by Gustave Moreau, who's one of my favorite artists from that era. By the way, I think The Lover is beautiful. I think that getting art decks is a really great way of studying art history. And like I said, I took art history in university, but I found it really quite boring. Even though I love looking at art, I love going to galleries and museums and just enjoying master paintings, I didn't really enjoy art history very much. I found it really dry. The Chariot. I love this image. I love how you can really see the juiciness of the paint. So I think art decks, Justice, are a really great way to study art history or touch up on your art history. The Hermit. Interesting. I love this Wheel of Fortune, you guys. I love it. I think it's just such a beautiful image. It's probably one of my favorite Wheel of Fortunes ever. Look at all those people just floating around. It kind of reminds me of my sculptures, actually, if any of you have seen my sculpture work. I love this. Oh my gosh, it's like the wheel of time, the wheel of cycles, everything moving and people just melting into each other. Strength. Let's see. I haven't seen past the Wheel of Fortune cards, so I'm gonna just quickly show you some of the cards that I usually look for. This is a Hangman. I don't want to show you all the cards. Oh, the Death cards. Pretty nice, pretty intense. All those heads, those faces. I wondered how this deck would read. Oh, I love the Devil. I saw this one before purchasing. I actually didn't look at all the cards before purchasing this deck. I like to keep a little bit of a mystery before I buy any decks, and I actually try to stay away from watching, this is just personally for me, watching too many in-depth reviews of decks before purchasing a deck, because I kind of want my own subconscious mind to have a reaction. So I'm gonna try not to go too far into the cards, because I wanted to leave that sense of mystery for you as well. Just wanted to, I mean, if you like art from this era, this period, then you'll definitely love the images. Now, whether or not you are going to resonate with the particular images that are chosen for the meanings of the cards, that's another thing. And I think, like I said, I can always find ways to relate to that in the same way as I explained for the Empress card. The Tower is really cool. It's like broken from the inside. It's kind of a ruin. Love the water here on the bottom. Really nice. What's this one? It keeps popping up for me. The Queen of Swords. Nice. I would need to spend some more time thinking about these images. I was just hoping to learn a little bit more about our history from the book, but the Star. Gorgeous, gorgeous images, really. I mean, how can you not like these images? The Moon. Beautiful. Judgment. Wow, that's a beautiful image. There's so much going on in there. So much to look at. Look at that swan that popped right up for me. All these faces. Gorgeous paintings. Gorgeous. So inspiring. Yeah, I finally managed to convince myself to go for this deck and pay the amount of money, equating it sort of to buying a really good art history book, because books are expensive. I mean, come on, they are like, what, at least $120 per book for universities, even more these days, right? The King of Swords. I was thinking King of Rods, but alright. King of Pentacles, Queen of Rods. Interesting. This one looks like it fits sized. If any of you have or have seen the John Waterhouse Oracle, I have a review of it, by the way, on my channel. Kind of reminds me of these images from the same time period. Kind of remind me of this deck. I'm so glad the borders are not like the border in the book. Queen of Pentacles. It's kind of gothic image. Reminds me of it. Anyway. Yeah, so Hierophant. Bit that kind of religious style, but of course it's inevitable when you have art history paintings, right? I like this one. Two of Swords. Kind of looks more like an Arabian Nights image. Oriental image. Beautiful. Okay, so Princess of Rods. It reminds me a little bit of the same, I think it's the same artist, of the Prince of Swords that we just saw. Very elegant deck. Princess of Swords, Princess of Pentacles. I love this. I think this is probably Gustave Miro. Gustave Miro, if you haven't heard of him, check him out. Moreau. Love his work. Love it so much. Oh, I love this painting too. Eight of Cups. Another one of my favorites. When I saw, oh, there's a cup there. When I saw it online. So yeah, I mean, you can go and look at all the images on her website. Nine of Cups. Nine of Swords. Very dark. Look at that water, kind of. I love that. The fiery sky, and then the water here, and then there's that void space, darkness going into the figures. This is an amazing painting. And I love how the sword is just sitting there, right there, slick. So the pentacles have the pentacles on the side. And then the cup you saw. The cup is just on the side. This is a nice painting. Three of Cups. Three of Cups is generally one of my favorites in all decks. Three of Swords. Interesting, right? I think this is really elegant how they chose to put this sword just on the edge there. So, you know, the cards are up to interpretation and contemplation. For example, Four of Pentacles. I mean, you kind of have to sit with this image before you think, I wonder how this relates to that, to the traditional imagery. Six of Rods. And so on. So the cards, I noticed, fan really beautifully. And that is kind of a common thing with the Los Scarborough too, like the fanning, which I'm not that good at. They slide really nicely together in the back. It's beautiful backing. It's just my favorite. I think this is one of my favorite backings of all time. And having said everything I said, I definitely am happy that I have this deck. I am. And I can't wait to work with the images. I think getting an art, for me, getting any art decks is always a good investment. I'm an art teacher as well, so I can use them in my work as well. And then, you know, it's a good way to touch up on my art history. And also very inspiring. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I really would love to know what you guys think about this deck. And I'm sending you lots and lots of love and blessings. I'll see you guys soon.